Good afternoon, everybody, from the Spirit of CAN. My name is Seth Womble. Today I have special guest Shale Shore, and she is our first actual in-person live interview since we started these things back when this pandemic sort of thing hit the planet. We've had to adjust our lives accordingly. Shale is a sailing teacher and has been fortunate to be able to work with some kids just this last week or so. And oddly enough, we did just receive some news today that's a little bit privy at this point, but since you guys are only going to be seeing this broadcast a week or so from our live interview, just found out we now have confirmed case back on the island of COVID, where we've just been weeks without any. So love you guys all out there, and we're going to go ahead and take these off just for this interview because we might not be able to do it again after this.
Enjoy some fresh air for a little bit.
While I just should have brushed my teeth. It makes it really hard to wear your mask if you don't brush
I've got
your
Tic
teeth.
Tacs.
Well, okay, so I've got Shale Shore, who does not sail seashores. Shale seashore?
No, just sailboat lessons.
Sailboat lessons.
No,
that's easier to say.
seashells.
So
No seashells.
okay, good. Tell us a little bit about yourself, as much as you want to package that or not. You know, it can be about what you do here. We are at the Nawili Willie Yacht Club today, as she is currently helping with a class here teaching kids to sail today. So pretty cool that we're on location here for our first live in-person interview. So thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Tell us something.
Thanks for inviting me. So right here, right now, in this capacity, I am serving as the executive director for the Kauai Sailing Association. And like Seth said, I just feel really, really fortunate right now, and I feel really, really fortunate for all the kids you see in the background, because we were blessed with this little small window of time when we had no cases on the island, and just for the kids to be able to spend some time together and get out in the fresh air and have something to do. It's been so good and so heartwarming, and I was just really, really so grateful to be here and for this opportunity. So that's a little bit about how I'm feeling right now.
We're gonna go back into that because it's a really unique thing that we actually got that news literally only moments before stepping up and starting this recording. So
yeah,
we're gonna keep this real. Continue talking about how you got to here or wherever you are right now and what you'd like to talk about there.
So Kauai, I've been here for about 10 years now. I got here on a pirate ship. I sailed from San Diego, and it was a really neat cruise. I was acting as a student scientist, and I was studying various bioluminescent water masses. So we went down to 8 degrees, and then we shot back up here to 22 degrees, just chasing sparkly water, essentially. So it was 6 weeks at sea, and I just remember it was so beautiful and black. And the night sky was just unreal, and our first land, we smelled it before we saw it, which was super cool. I was not expecting that. And like, let me tell you, like, Kauai smells gross. We just like had this fermenting land smell.
Holy smell.
It was nasty.
Wow.
So we smelled that.
Distinct from being out on the ocean, open
Totally.
air.
Yeah, it just hit you, and you were like, what is rotting? And our captain's like, that's land.
Wow. No
Yeah.
kidding. That's kind of profound.
Yeah, I thought something was like on the ship rotting, but no. That was
It's not like, ooh, land ho. It was like, whoa,
It's like,
land, whoa.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. Well, what's bioluminescence? There's people out there that don't understand sparkly water.
So there's a lot of marine organisms that bioluminesce. I was specifically studying plankton, so little free floating particles in the water. You can't like swim against the current, and they make bright lights at night. So a lot of animals do this in the pelagic setting, in the I don't know, just marine animals in general.
Even on land, there's animals that glow.
And mushrooms.
Yeah, there you go.
So lots of things glow.
Even without eating them.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So yeah, I was studying sparkly little things in the water, basically, which was cool. Like our equipment that we had to drop down, when you dropped it down, the whole ocean would just light up around it, and you could see it going down.
Wow.
I actually forget how many meters we had at this point, but it was a lot. It was on a huge hydro winch, so we went down pretty deep.
Radical. I mean, it sounds like something I would definitely get into that. I nerd out on some ocean stuff.
It was neat
Wow.
because we were just.
So you had this incredible trip across the ocean, plus studying bioluminescence on a pirate ship that put you here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smelled some land, pulled up to the Big Island for our first night, saw the lava racing in the ocean, and
that's a pretty incredible sight in and of itself. For me, I've been able to experience it from land, and seeing lava, it's so, you're just seeing like the inside of the earth. I don't know how else to explain it. It is awe-inspiring.
Pretty powerful.
You just can't take your eyes off it.
Yeah.
But going into the ocean.
Yeah, it was wild. So that was our first night, and then we pulled up into Honolulu, and I just remember being really offended by all of the lights, and I was actually angry.
You spent so much time under the stars, I guess.
Yeah.
It would have been a little harder.
So I was just like, is this necessary? And I was really angry. So I hopped on a plane to come here and just felt so much better about life without the bright lights, without the city. And I just really liked the island, so I stayed. That's how I got here.
And then you probably, like a lot of people that end up here or are drawn here somehow, you got to get like 2 or 3 or 5 jobs.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden things, if you're in the right place, in the right state of mind, you got the right community, then
kind of clicks.
Something like this comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so we've been doing these CANversations, basically discussing mostly surrounding what changes you've had to face going into the last few months. But I think I'd like to broaden the scope just a little bit and make it more about this year in particular. I'm hearing a lot of people talking about how this year is a write-off. We're halfway through the year and there's a lot of people that are like, I'm done, just take me to next year. And I totally get it, my heart breaks with them. This has been a challenge, but man, there's some growth that happens with change, and usually that's really difficult. So, I mean, for those of you guys that are missing your sports right now, how would you feel if your favorite team was like, we're down by a bunch of points and we're taking a beating, we should probably just forfeit? Like, no.
Yeah.
So, you are a very resilient person. You've been through all kinds of things. We only got to hear a little bit about, your life just going from your trip to Hawaii, then to Kauai. Maybe some of the other things that you've been through might come up through the CANversations we had, but specifically going into this last year, what were some of the things that were difficult that you had to either give up or change or just redirect your focus? And then we're going to talk then about how you might have made those changes.
So this year was actually really difficult. The whole COVID thing was super hard for me. So I was in Israel. Might not have been smart to go before. It was before the pandemic hit in the United States, and it wasn't really real for us. And the last week of my trip, I was there for about a month, and we were really wondering if we were going to be able to even get back to the States. I was like, I might be in Israel for a little while, but did manage to come back here. And when I first came back to Kauai, I went with 2 of my friends, and I was really scared when we came back, and I was wearing a mask everywhere, and no one on the island or in the United States there was no alarm bells yet. So I felt really alone, and I felt stupid because I was wearing a mask everywhere, and it's not a culturally accepted thing to do. So I was scared, I felt alone, and I kind of felt stupid for doing that. And I was really paranoid and had the hand sanitizer wipes in the car and everything. And I actually had to face my first real ethical dilemma as a nurse, which is my second job. And I worked at an elder care facility, and they wanted me to go back to work because it was still legal at this time. You didn't have to quarantine. And personally, I felt really scared. I didn't want to put any of our kapuna at risk. Mm-hmm. And I really, really care about the people who I look after. And so being put in this position was really scary for me. I was worried that I was going to lose my job, but I felt like the right thing to do was to not go back to work and not put these people's lives at risk. So I had to make that really hard call and tell my employer that I wasn't coming in. And so that was really scary for me. And it was really hard because policies and procedures were saying one thing, and then my experience from being abroad, I really got to be close, almost to the epicenter, way closer to Italy. and have a different perspective than everyone did here. So that was really hard to deal with, different perspectives and how that leads us to different ethical choices.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
All the feelings that come with that, not only caring for those people that you were basically having to say, I cannot come and care for you anymore because I don't want to put you at risk. And then all the weird societal judgments and everything else that people are putting on you based on their beliefs, whatever that might be, where we all have those same core feelings about wanting to protect each other's lives. You know, that's incredibly ethically difficult. So there's still this restriction. Have you been able to go back?
Yeah, so I did my 14-day quarantine, and they did still want me to work there.
Okay.
So I have a job. It's great.
And I'm sure
I didn't lose my job.
they're lucky to have you too. So
yeah, I have a job. I feel good about the decision I made. Yeah, so it ended out okay, and it ended up well. Yeah.
What kind of when you were in the thick of that and those moments were hitting you, like, I got to make these decisions, and we were all going through moments where it was like it would be great if somebody could just tell us what to do. And you know, that's where leadership comes in, and it's nice to have those people in our community, and then our extended community, our families, and then hopefully our community and country leaders and things like that. It's nice to be guided, but nobody knew what to do. So when you were wrestling with all of that stuff and trying to figure that out, were there any particular times that you had to catch yourself and be like, okay, this is what it is? And what are your methods for changing your frame of mind, when you're really starting to snowball? Something like that.
So I think it's actually pretty aligned with the spirit of CAN and what we're talking about here. Straight up, I was struggling. I was having a really difficult time making that decision. And I reached out. To friends, and a huge shout out to Dr. Buke. She's one of my great friends, and I called her up and really chatted with her, and she gave me a pep talk. She's like, no, you care about those people, you will not get them sick, you will stand up for what you believe in. She's like, what's in your heart? And I was like, in my heart, I really want to protect these people, and I don't feel safe potentially exposing them. So just reaching out and asking for help. And I feel so lucky that I have friends that I can do that with, to sound off and who are there for me. So, I mean, that was huge. Just reaching out and having someone answer back was awesome.
That's massive.
Yeah, it was huge.
Well, two things there.
Yeah.
You reached out, and two, you dug deep within yourself. You weren't being told what's the best thing you can do right now by your policymakers, whoever they might be, for your employment and whatever else. Yeah. You had to really dig into what your core values are, and that is a scary place for a lot of people.
That's hard, especially when you're like, I might lose my job.
And you have no idea. Weeks, months, how long is this thing going to be? Is there an end, or is that a destination-minded thought? All that stuff coming through.
The uncertainty too, right? I'm like, do I have it? Do I not have it?
Have I already have it?
Am I being overkill? Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's been nuts. And like I said, I think the destination minded of getting through this or getting to the other side of it is not also helping. So along with talking about the spirit of CAN, that's what we've got going on here today. But it's not just a brand. This is a concept that I jumped on board with because I kept having to give away my hats, first of all. Second of all, was because of this idea that we have to be able to take care of ourselves, be able to have community to get help from, to reach out to get help. Sometimes it's too hard, or we have too much pride to even ask for help. So then it's important for those community members that are feeling strong to recognize that and just reach down and help those that they need to help as well. Yeah. And then going from there, because those are the things that you just mentioned, there's essentially this hierarchy. As soon as you're able to take care of those basic needs, then things get a little bit easier. But you can only focus on the things that you can do. So things that aren't in your control, it's easy to spin off in a million different directions on the things that you don't have control over.
Yeah.
So with that said, I want to hear more about your thoughts on that, because I got plenty of things I can say, but I like to bring all this stuff back into that whole idea of the spirit of CAN. And it's not a positive message, it's real. It's making a plan, and it's simplifying things and moving forward. It's not just saying yes to everything, waking up and going, I can do it.
Yeah, I think speaking to that is just so key to be able to adapt right now. Because like you said, like, oh, we're looking forward to the end of this or when this is over, but that's not really life. Sometimes you just kind of have to accept the situation you're in and be willing to adapt and be ready to adapt. Like for us, like I know a big part of my joy in life is like sharing my passion. Like I love sailing, I love sharing it. And so we couldn't sail, but just being informed. So I was in touch with all of our like local authorities about when we could get permits to get back on the water, and just adapting to those changing rules daily. Like when we first started 3 weeks ago in our classes, we could only have one kid on a boat. And so we were all masked and we had one kid on a boat. And then it relaxed a little and then we can have 10 people on a boat. And so I think just being ready to take advantage of any situation and make the best out of it. Like that was the best case scenario. We got to sail. But even before that, when we weren't sailing, trying to like make the best out of your situation. Like a lot of people were gardening. I like jumped on it. I've got like tomatoes now. So
I didn't even think tomatoes were possible in my baby. I got a couple. Well, my wife made a couple.
It's amazing. We got like cucumbers, we got beans, like I got some like what do I got? What's the pesto stuff? Basil. I got basil off the hook. So I mean, it's the adaptation. I phone my mom like every single day. I took her on like little quarantine walks and bike rides. So it was like, yeah, how do you make the best out of whatever is happening?
Start thinking about those things that are within your control.
Exactly. Because nothing, you can't really control very much in life. So yeah.
Well, look,
adaptation.
so let's go ahead and tie that into what you're doing, because I love analogies. And speaking of not really being able to control the things, you know, a lot of things in life, like nature, we can kind of tend to harness it a little bit, right?
I like where you're going with this.
All right.
I like where you're going with this.
So down here below, we've got kids. What age groups are they?
Okay, we have 7 to 16-year-olds down here. We have one 6-year-old that his birthday is next week. Maverick snuck in there. Yeah, and so they're just like a great group of kids who are doing what I love doing. Seth, you've sailed, right? Yeah. 6 years old, 7 years old.
I started at 6, 7 years old, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a camp kind of a thing during the summer as well.
Yeah.
And that was all I wanted to do. Forget about all the crafts and all the other silly things. I just wanted to sail.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because there is something about, you don't have control over things, but there are ways that you can use creative problem solving, a little bit of resilience, a little bit of backbone, some grit sometimes,
Yeah.
and kind of figure out how to make it work.
Okay, so I had a metaphor for this. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay, are you guys ready for this? It's gonna require a whiteboard. Okay. I think this should be in frame, yeah?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay. So gang, if you don't already know, so right here, this little arrow is our wind, okay? So the wind's like blowing down the page here. So from the top of the page to the bottom. If you're a sailor, you know this is how wind always blows. If you're not, now you know. Okay, so we have like a little boat here, okay? Boats cannot sail right into the wind. They just can't. And it's not something they do. They have like a zone here that they can't go into. And I mean, it's aptly named. It's called the no-go zone. You can't go there. So all of this area, you can't sail. It's just something you can't do. So, for whatever reason in life, I think you like start down here and you want to get right upwind, and you can't directly go there. So there's this thing that sailors do. They zigzag essentially. They can go this way. They can go that way. They can't go into the no-go zone. You cannot go into the no-go zone. So
Doesn't mean you can't get there.
exactly. So you take this path, it's a zigzag. So you're gonna go this way because you can. And then you're gonna do a little maneuver called tacking, which is what all those kiddos out there are perfecting right now. And so you zigzag the other way for a little bit. And then you tack. And then you zigzag the other way. And then you tack. And then eventually you get there. So my metaphor for you and for you guys was that if you go into life thinking that this is your only option, you're really going to struggle. You're going to fight, and you're going to struggle, and you're going to just get pushed down there. But because we had a little knowledge, we honed our skills, like we learned a few facts, like we learned how to sail upwind, we learned how to tack, you can get to your destination.
I love this.
This
is great. This is so good.
That's like it in a nutshell, and that's like all I really had is like life. This is kind of life. You arm yourself with some knowledge, you go out there and practice, and you might have even seen these kids like falling over in the background. Like,
hopefully we got some of that.
Yeah. You struggle a bit. It's so rarely this straight course. That's not the path you can take.
To tie this back in, may I contribute to your
Sailing
drawing here? Let's go
instructor,
in
for
here
sure.
really quick, a little close up. Hopefully you can get that with the light. Sorry to block your face.
No, sailing's beautiful.
So you can't always go straight, but let's just say that you've been going straight, because it's not unnatural to go with the flow or slightly less resistance, stay in comfort zones, kind of thing like that. Like, so.
Do you want a fresh palette for this?
No, this is great because I want to have the comparison.
Okay.
So let's just say you had a great year last year. Here's 2019.
So 2019, just to be technical, would have to be on a hydrofoil because that's the only way you could make enough wind to go straight upwind.
Let's just say
2019
you were
was a hydrofoil
you were like
year.
being towed in. It was just I don't know. The wind was at your back for some reason this day, even though that doesn't ever really happen. So here's 2019. It was easy breezy, beautiful. Maybe you made a lot of money. You got a bunch of great friends. You got a bazillion likes on your photo. One day for your Weird Beard Wednesday. But God, the year went so fast. It's so weird. Like maybe you just worked so hard or whatever. And here's 2020.
Oh man, 2020, we put some gardening on our first tack.
Yep, here's here's a tomato.
Oh yeah, there's like some calling mom on the next tack.
Here's mom.
Hey mom.
I'm doing this upside down and backwards. That's how I shaved today.
Hey, you shaved. You did some art. You did some art, yeah.
So yeah. I mean, we got a lot done last year. It was an exceptional year, but God, maybe these things would have never even happened. Maybe it's going to take a little longer to get to the finish line, but maybe there's going to be a lot more to remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wouldn't have gardened.
I've tried gardening, but I was never as successful as I was this year because my wife really put in a lot of help. But also like to think that it's because, we took the time to do it, whereas we were kind of in a rush with things because we had so many other things to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's some of the best memories, right? Right there. That you just wrote down. Like, we asked these kids, like, what their favorite part of sailing camp is. It's capsizing. It's flipping the boat. It's literally failing. Their favorite part of camp is failing.
Wiping out.
Yeah. That's the stuff that you remember.
It's like, maybe it's because it's that thing, like that breaking point where you realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified of this. Getting in a car for the first time, I probably used this before in a CANversation. I apologize if I'm repeating myself. But getting in a car the first time, you got all these buttons and knobs. And remember when you're a kid, it's like,
terrifying.
This is complicated, but I got this because you want to do it, right? But
or you were more confident than I was.
I really wanted to do it.
I was scared.
And I also had parents that would grab the ceiling or like put their feet up on the dashboard when somebody would break like 100 yards in front of them. So that was terrifying. But, once you are able to stumble through it or learn or give yourself that chance or, get pounded by the ocean that one time or flip your what are these called? Top hat over?
Toppers.
Flip over your topper. It's a sailboat that's going on back here. You flip your topper for the first time, but not doing it could be terrifying. But once you've done it, you're like, oh, I got this. I can flip it back over. I can keep going. I might do it again.
Oh my God, Seth, can we do 2020? Is that where we're coming? I think we can do 2020.
Let's flip it over.
Yeah.
Because, we've got half of this year left as of right now, maybe a little bit more. Technically, I don't know which end of the scale we're on there.
We just passed solstice.
Just past solstice.
Last Saturday,
okay.
I think.
Anyway, come on, let's pull this together because we can.
Yeah.
And it's about focusing on those things that you can do. The things are tangible. Things are going to change. It might get harder. It really might. It's not about staying positive and always.
It's about flipping your boat, people.
Flip it over.
Just fail. It's okay. It's okay.
come next year, you're all going to be doing different things, you know? So, all right. So what are some things that you're looking forward to now? Going in the future, this is changing now, actually very rapidly based on the information that we just got for our meeting.
Man.
But so what kind of goals are you working on right now?
Okay, I honestly think that my goals just hit a brick wall. We had some pretty lofty goals. Next week we were gonna run 2 sailing camps at one time. We were gonna have beginners and intermediate. The next week we were gonna have an advanced camp. These kids have been doing amazing. They're going out in open ocean 2 miles offshore in lasers. And the kids made this goal themselves. They wanted to sail the equivalent open ocean miles as going to Oahu this summer in lasers. But I mean, we just got this news that we have community spread case on island now. So again, I think we're gonna have to adapt. Like, those goals are somehow gonna have to be tweaked, and we're gonna have to change them. So I think I don't have goals yet. I think I gotta go back to the drawing board now and really think about like the safety of the kids, our community, and how we can keep the sailing stoke alive while staying safe.
Yeah.
So I think my goals are about to change.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Hopefully we can still sail, but based on the information that we just got, they're probably gonna have to change a little bit.
Yeah, that's life, and this is legitimate information that we just got right before sitting down. So making changes as we speak, even in our CANversation right now. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm a little stumped right now because I'm gobsmacked absolutely with the news that we've got, and let's just keep it together. And by the time you guys are checking this out, we'll all have a different frame of mind and reference of what it is that we're looking at for these next couple of weeks. And just want to stay together in this and try not to give anybody a hard time. We're all just trying to figure this out and dig deep on those core instincts that you've got. We've all got those. We've got gifts. It might not be feeding the economy, which is not a living, breathing thing. You can't really even eat your money, as far as I know. It probably doesn't digest well. So keep focusing on your gardens. Water the gardens in your relationships. As far as I know, there's really 3 things that you have control over. Only 3?
You got control over more things than I do, I think.
I limited this down to 3 things. They all kind of package into one thing. You can control your thoughts. With your thoughts, then it's got a direct path pretty much to your mouth. Sometimes it gets a little confused, I know. I don't always communicate articulately. But you got control of your mouth too. So you got your thoughts, you got your mouth. Your mouth then can create actions with your hands, with your spirit. Focus on those 3 things. That's all I know to tell people right now, for the most part. You can really whittle down, keep things simple. Limit your news, your social media intake, things like that. Get outside.
Yeah.
Breathe in some air.
We're so lucky here, right? We can get outside. We can still get outside.
Virtual sailing? What are we gonna do?
Oh, we got this, guys. Don't worry. We've got plans. I mean, we had to go virtual before, so we'll do it again. And yes, it's virtual sailing. I mean, we went on trips to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. If you guys haven't done that, go for a field trip. It's awesome. I just go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium website, and there's all the live cams.
Oh, cool.
So we're like immersing ourselves in the ocean, even though we're not on the water. And yeah, we're watching videos about sailing. We're getting tips. We're Zoom meetings. And then, I mean, we're gonna whittle it down to like 1 person per boat, and that's all their gear for as long as we can do that. But then, yeah, back to virtual sailing.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Shale.
Yeah.
This was our first in-person live CAN interview, and hopefully we get to do some more.
Yeah, hopefully you guys liked it, and hopefully there were some like hilarious things going on in the background. We weren't watching, so like, I hope you got to see some of the magic. Like, these guys are proud. Like, some of them, it's their first time ever sailing. And like, you've seen them docking and launching, maybe flipping. So I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of that, because they are stoked. And actually, it's Hannah's birthday today. She's turning 12, which is why we've got all these like ribbons on the tops of the boats.
Aww.
They all say, "Happy birthday, Hannah Sailor Girl 12." And coming up, she's gonna have to do 12 capsizes in a row. So that's her birthday celebration down here at the yacht club today.
She'll probably eat well and sleep well.
Yeah.
Imagine that. So cool. I want to go jump out there. That looks like a lot.
Yeah, maybe we'll go get Seth on a boat right now with one of the kids, and then we'll tack that on to the end of the interview. If that's cool with you guys, we'll make that happen right now.
Thank you. Brought to you by the Spirit of Can. My name is Seth Womble. This is Shale Shore. Do you want to give them any way to get in touch with you if anybody's got questions or websites?
Yeah,
or
sure.
like
Go to our website, kawaisailing.org, and you can always send us an email to kawaisailing@gmail.com. So if you got any questions, you want to get out on the water, yeah.
There you go. And if you'd like to check out some can gear, we do like to give some of this stuff away from time to time. But if you can't wait for that and you would like to go ahead and support the brand, which helps feed a good, positive community atmosphere, Spirit of Can is a good universal idea. So we're trying to get that idea out there. Get on the website, spiritofcan.com, and you can order your friends and family something, send it out. I keep having to give my stuff away, so.
I know the pain.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Seth. Do you think he's gonna be okay? What do you think? Is he gonna survive? You don't think so? Oh. Do you think they're gonna tip?
I think they're just gonna be fine.
You think they're gonna be fine? We'll see. Only time will tell. And you got them? Okay. Nice. Nice, Tasha. Thank you very much. Bye, Kai. Sorry for stealing your vessel.